I love playing rugby here. I think when you're in a boarding school environment, you're that bit closer to your teammates than you otherwise would be. By the time you're playing senior cup, you've been living in one another's pockets for 5 or 6 years at that point, and you know each other inside and out. That's not something you get to replicate after you leave school. It was definitely a very unique and special period in my life, and I'll always remember it very fondly.
Again to Andy Ryan, who gives Duncan Casey a little pass inside. Duncan Casey down the centre. Oh, not a lot of support though. Hands off one. Duncan Casey still going. Out to Chris Flagg.
Contact causes the largest number of injuries in training, so equipment that can improve technique and prolong careers is really essential as the game evolves. Tackling is something that I only really began to develop well when I came into the Munster Academy system, just because I didn't have enough opportunity to practice it and perfect it in school. If I had something that would have allowed me to practice my technique without taking a toll on my body, it would have been a massive help. I think ShadowMan is a brilliant concept. Every rugby player in the world has a use for something like this, from 10 or 11 year olds learning to tackle from the first time to someone like me who's just come back from a ruptured pec. I think every team in the world should have a couple of these at their disposal. The standard in schools rugby has transformed over the last few years. I watched a couple of senior cup games this year and I couldn't get over how big and powerful most of the lads were. Every school has a strength and conditioning coach, which is something that we didn't have. Back when I was playing, you'd play well in the cup and see what happened with representative teams. Now guys are being identified at 15 or 16 and they can see a really clear path between schools rugby and academy systems and ultimately professional contracts. So the sport has evolved and it's very important that equipment evolves alongside it. I definitely think there's a place for products that would allow young players to develop their skills in a more effective way and allow them to get more out of rugby, both from a performance and an enjoyment point of view. To develop any skill in sport to a high level, you need to dedicate a huge amount of time to it. The only way to improve is by doing it and doing it often. That goes for line-out throwing, for passing, for kicking, for tackling, for everything. I was delighted to hear that Glenstal have seen the merits of ShadowMan and have really bought into the whole idea. Most of the equipment that's being used at the moment hasn't really changed in the last 10 or 15 years. I think ShadowMan will have a huge part to play in player development and player welfare for a very long time to come. I'm just sorry there wasn't one lying around when I was here.